Hello, guys, and welcome to another One Stop Wrestling podcast. As always, I'm your host, Alex, and this week I'm joined by Rohit, as always, and a returning Alfonso. Rohit, how are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. How are you today, Alex?
Very, very good. Very good. Alfonso, welcome back.
Welcome back, Alfonso.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're good. We missed you. How you been?
All good, all good. I know you miss me. I know.
Much better having you on than Craig, I have to say.
Don't
Shall
worry.
refrain from commenting.
Brings much more cheer to this show, anyway.
Yeah, I think it's good sometimes to have correct, to have this balance with good and evil. You know.
Well, we
Yeah.
had the evil last week, and now it's good this week. So,
Yep.
and
And what a week! And what a week! What a last week it was for wrestling. Uh, AEW was off the charts on the weekend. I was so happy watching wrestling. Like I don't remember the last time I enjoyed AW as much as this past weekend.
yeah, completely agree. And it's been a crazy week, crazy weekend. I have not been an AEW fan of the past sort of year and a half. You two know that as well as anyone. But this is the first time in a long time where I've genuinely been excited and think the company is looking quite good, actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, huge debut at the weekend at their Wrestle Dream pay-per-view. Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge. I think everybody knows him as Edge, so it's going to be difficult to call him Adam Copeland because it's been a long time calling him Edge. But yeah, he made his debut at AEW in the main event after Christian versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. Huge response. I still find it absolutely surreal, really, to see him in an AEW ring. It almost felt like it wasn't quite real. I don't know what you two thought of the debut.
It was a wrestle dream.
Yeah,
Pun intended. For me, yeah, I think we all knew that he was coming in because of the pre-sale code and everything. Like
Mhm.
the debut was telegraphed. You knew it was coming, but it was
Yeah.
very well done. Like
Yeah. You just didn't know for sure when, but you felt like at the paper it was the right time, really.
and the fact that they put Christian
in the
in
main
the main
event.
event. Yeah,
The main event. Yeah.
yeah. It's still just bizarre. Even though I knew it was happening, it was just bizarre to see him in an AEW ring. It just something just didn't feel like it was reality because he spent
Yeah.
25 years in WWE.
And
Yeah.
to hear Metalingus also it was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. True.
yeah. With I think Beth Phoenix did the "You Think You Know Me," didn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Is that been confirmed? I think people have theorized, but I don't know if it's been confirmed yet or not.
we have to text Beth Phoenix to have a response now.
We need it probably. Have you seen the note she posted? A picture of the note that Adam left her.
No,
No.
what did he say?
Basically, it was something along the lines of, "I'll be back, just taking the dog out for a walk. We'll be back in a few." And basically, certain letters, so the A in walk, the E in B, and the F, I mean the W in few, was in capitals, so you could see AEW on
Ah,
there as well. So it was like quite funny that no,
very, very clever.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, this week there's really only one thing to talk about, and that is Edge in AEW. It's given him a whole new lease on his career. Really, I think he's going to really enjoy the freedom he's going to get, especially at such a late stage in his career.
yeah,
So many potential new matchups for someone like Edge to have. And this week, the three of us are going to pick three dream matches for Edge in AEW. And then hopefully at the end of that, we're going to come up with a top three. Hopefully there may be some intertwining of picks, but there might be a few debates, but we're going to come up with a top three. And then after that, I want to pick a wild card dream match from all of us as well. Just a random one from each company. So, Edge's
Just before we go into that, I just want to say, like, for those people who aren't happy that Edge is there or they saw Edge as a WWE lifer, I feel like just enjoy it because you're gonna get more of him just under a different name with different lights, really. But it's gonna be more Edge or Adam Copeland now, yes. And I think you should just enjoy it. And I feel like those people saying, "Oh, WWE lifer, you shouldn't do this," I feel like it's also a matter of circumstance. I felt like he never had a reason until now to actually leave the WWE. Like, look at Christian. He kind of felt like WWE weren't using him. That's why he left originally with his TNA run. So I feel like
Oh,
Edge would have done the same if he weren't used. I think he would have had enough, like, to bet on himself, really. But yeah.
Rohit, I completely agree. You are always going to get those haters,
Of course, yeah.
and you know, Edge did it for himself. It's his decision. You've just got to respect what he wants to do for his career.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And to see that he's actually being going to be used, we don't know how well, but he's going to get work and he's going to do stuff. Brilliant, I say.
I think, I may be wrong, I think we've just been joined by Craig.
Wait, I thought
Oh.
you were all talking about dream Triple H matches.
Wrong podcast, mate. Go away.
Wait, you're not talking about dream Triple H matches?
No.
I've got better ways to spend my night. You guys have a good show.
Okay.
Goodbye, Greg.
What a cameo. What a
He
cameo.
came down the ramp, slid into the ring, and hit Alex with the belt.
And then got dumped over
I-
the top rope by Alfonso and Rohit. Bye-bye, Craig.
No, that was when our truth think it was his time to go grab the briefcase in the Royal Rumble, something like that.
Yeah. When you went with, oh, this isn't it? My bad. I remember that little run. That was actually quite funny.
Well, thanks for that, Craig. One day we will have to placate him and eventually do a Triple H Dream matches, but hopefully that won't be for a long time. So this week we're going to focus on Edge in AEW. So top 3 dream matches. Let's start with you, Alfonso. As soon as you're back this week, give us your first pick.
Okay, my first pick is Roderick Strong.
Oh, interesting. That's a bit of a curveball.
Yeah, but just because of one thing. Adam Cole right now is injured, like for a long time. Apparently, he's getting screws on his feet and everything. So
Oh.
I want Roderick to yell, Adam! And have Adam Copeland appear and just beat the shit out of Roddy Strong.
Is that the only reason you want that match to happen?
Yes. That's the only reason.
I think they got so many Adams. We need to change it to Adam Elite Wrestling now.
I mean, sure. I mean, that's as good as reason as any. That to have a match. Why not?
and then if it's not Edge, it has to be Hangman Page.
Forever thinking outside the box, Alfonso. I love it.
That's my first pick.
That was simple and effective enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Rohit, give us your first pick.
Okay, so again, so many people I could have put in this list, but I felt like since there's like the obvious choices, I picked someone as maybe not towards the top, and that is Mr. El Toro Blanco Rush.
Wow.
I think Rush is like, I guess, a slightly more bigger luchador in terms of size, and I feel like they could have some interesting storytelling and dynamic in the ring as well. And obviously, we'll see how the chemistry would go if that ever happened. But I feel like they could do some great work really, and I want to see more Rush because, like, I've always been a fan of him for what I've seen from New Japan, a little bit in CMLL and AAA, but I feel like he's a big star, and I would just like to see more of him on AEW. Really.
That's not a bad shout. I mean, the times Roosh has been in AEW matches, the matches have been really strong.
Yeah.
And he hits very hard as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't really wrestle like a luchador, does he?
He doesn't know. It's like a more of a hybrid style. But I also feel like Luchador does have that stigma in like the Western, especially in like America, that they're that high flying acrobatic, where it's like I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Luchador, like Lucha Libre, has like the more of the free fighting context. That's where it's come from, and I feel like Lucha Libre is a lot more than just the acrobatics. Like there's so many technical wrestlers, so many brawlers, so many like deathmatch guys there in Mexico as well. Like encompass everything really, and just like the way it's been presented to us in the West, it's like we kind of don't see that part that much unless you watch the Mexican promotions, really.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, and Roosh is definitely a
Rush, definitely. I
And
love just Ring of Honor World Championship runs, and I think he can do a lot of things in AEW if they choose to be like
and
one of the main guys.
and Edge always loved to work with Rey Mysterio, so the
Yeah,
chemistry, I think it will be great.
yeah, he'd understand like his style for sure, and obviously they've got a lot of like Spanish and English speakers, so translation wise should be no problem. They're a multi-billion-dollar company, or at least their owner is a multi-billion-dollar person, so they should be able to handle translations.
they'd be able to work it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So my first pick, it might shock you, it might not. My first pick is actually Sting.
Interesting. Nice.
Yeah. Now, I'm not thinking about this from an in-ring standpoint because Sting is 64 years old, I believe.
Yeah.
It just seems like such a dream match just on paper, like two of the biggest names of the last like 25, 30 years
Yeah.
just wrestling each other. Like, can you imagine the stare down they'd have, or some of the it's just two huge names.
I think it should just happen as well because like Sting, like he's flirted now with retirement, and I feel like maybe a year, maybe end up probably a year. I would say probably that's maybe it then for Sting, at least in ring wise. So
Yeah,
think
and I
just
feel
have
like
it happen really.
Sting's like proper dream matches for like more of a casual fan. Like in AEW, think like maybe like Chris Jericho, or
Yeah.
like names of that caliber, like Bryan Danielson maybe.
Hmm.
And Edge just fits that bill.
Yeah.
He's a huge name, and I feel like just those two would just draw quite a lot of fans to see it just by making the match.
Yeah, for sure. I do like the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how it would go in ring, but I mean, you can smoke and mirrors it in quite a few ways, really. But
I mean, they if they want to, they'd have Matt Hardy there. They could try and produce like a cinematic style match between the two. I think that could work,
yeah, that's not a bad
especially with
idea.
like Edge's like ultimate opportunities kind of style, like manipulator kind of style with Sting's mind game, and throw Joker Sting in there too and everything. And
Oh
I think
yeah,
that could work.
now this is sounding good. I want them to book it now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things they could play with because Sting has like the whole history with like they could have like the red face paint Sting, you could have hardcore Sting, you could have like Joker Sting appear, you could have TNA version Sting appear if you wanted to. So many different main event Mafia Sting if they could get that, and then with Edge's multiple like face turns and everything that he's done over the years, they could throw Easter eggs in there. They could have Saxon Hardcastle appear out of nowhere. So much things they could play around with. I think if they don't want to go like the traditional wrestling match, I think they could do that. And I mean, Sting's been diving through tables, so I think he should be okay for like a semi-decent, like solid 3-star match, I guess.
Yeah,
So, and I think that's just seeing them have like just a simple match. I think it would be fine because no one expects Sting to like drop a 5-star masterclass. So I think everyone would be happy with just that as well.
Yeah, I think just seeing them wrestle would be great. Just even just the stare down.
Yeah.
Book it, Tony Khan. Book it. Alfonso, what's your second pick?
My second pick is also, I think, a curveball because I want to see Edge go against Eddie Kingston.
Oh,
I think he's the company man against the wrestler that hates companies.
I
For
didn't
me,
even-
Eddie Kingston is the street champion, and Edge has always been the good boy that has always been in a company. So I think that match could be great. The promos could be awesome, like pretty awesome. I want to see like Edge go against in a promo with Eddie Kingston. I think that will be great. And of course, I want to see Eddie get speared the fuck out by Edge, and I think that will be great.
That's a great shout. I didn't even think about Eddie Kingston. As soon as you said it, I
Then
thought,
get this
oh god, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Eddie Kingston is awesome. I love Eddie Kingston. I think he's so unique. His promos are amazing. The promos between those two would be insane. I think.
Can you imagine if they do it in New York as well?
Yeah, imagine. Or in
Eddie's home.
Canada.
Canada would be good too, but I feel like Eddie in New York is like, I don't know,
But
someone
Edge in
stepping
Canada.
up.
man. Edge in
Yeah,
Canada.
true.
With
true.
Eddie Kingston as the company man, I would want Edge to be this massive heel in that match.
Yeah, that's what I think. If he was in New York, they would get so behind Eddie, and if
Oh,
Edge
yeah.
is the heel, the boos he would receive as well. I think I could make something like New York Street Fight, Edge versus Eddie Kingston, or something like
There's another one Tony Khan needs to book.
that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Rohit, what is your second pick?
My second pick. Oh, let's see. Let me have a look at my short list.
Oh, you haven't narrowed it down yet.
No, because there's so many I couldn't pick. So I'm just going off what I feel in the moment, really.
Nothing like preparation.
That's it, really. Sometimes you prepare and it flies out of the window, really, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Okay,
this
somewhat
was
there
very
have picked one. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Alfonso.
no. This was a very hard list to pick. Like just to pick three guys is very hard, but you have to go what you're feeling in the moment.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's so many names, isn't there? So many choices.
think a big roster, but yeah. So the person I've picked now is again someone I feel like it could do a lot more in AEW with, and I feel like if they do push him and have him face Adam Copeland, I think they could do some great storytelling. That is Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal.
Interesting.
Yeah, Edge versus Jay Lethal. Just because I feel like Jay Lethal deserves a bit more of the spotlight because I feel like he hasn't really been used that much in a big capacity. He's just been like around with like Satnam Singh and doing his own little stick with Jeff Jarrett here and all that. But I feel like he could do more.
Jay Lethal is fucking awesome.
Exactly, and I
He's
feel like we
so
haven't
good at
seen,
everything.
yeah, we haven't seen like a Ring of Honor Jay Lethal like when he was the world champion or the heel TV champion. We haven't seen that Jay Lethal in AEW yet, and I feel like if you can see that Jay Lethal was maybe a babyface Edge potentially, I
Yeah.
think that could, they could make some magic. And he's worked with Ric Flair with that woo off, so if you can make that work, I think you make a lot of things work. So I
He's,
think Jay Lethal would be a great opportunity for him.
he's such a professional as well.
Yeah,
He really is. Yeah, that's a great shout.
and to see him work with someone that most people consider a WWE guy, I think it would put to bed that if Jay Lethal did go to WWE, as long as he was booked well, he would succeed there. But yeah, I think it would be a great opportunity for both.
Yeah, another good one. My second pick is actually fairly similar to Alfonso's in the way of thinking. It's like a company guy who Edge will just have great promos with, and that's MJF.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really thrown any curveballs in my three. I'm not going to lie; they're all pretty obvious picks. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I just think again, MJF could play that company guy because he is like AEW lifer from day one. The promo battles would be insane because
Yeah.
MJF is, for me, he's probably the best talker in all of pro wrestling. I think.
I mean,
My,
Edge already thrown out that the world title would look good on him. So
yeah, I mean, it was the same when Punk arrived. That was the one I wanted straight away was Punk MJF, and I feel like it's the same now with Edge, and
yeah,
MJF is such a great in-ring worker. I don't think he gets enough credit for the way he works in the ring. I think him and Edge will have a cracking match.
for sure. I think
But
that
it doesn't
really good.
have to be for the title.
No. Punk MJF wasn't, and that was arguably one of the best feuds in company history.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Alfonso, what is your third and final pick?
My third and final pick is Uncle Jay, but no Christian. Is Uncle Jay White.
Jay White, yeah. I nearly considered him for one of my picks too.
I love Jay White. I want to see Jay White be champion. I think if you're doing a feud after MJF, because I don't know where AEW is going because of the Adam Cole injury. Because
Yeah,
I was pretty sure that Adam Cole was going to be champion a full year because of a Roderick Strong error or something like that. But right now, I'm feeling like maybe they're going with Jay White. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they're going to play out the long game with Jay White facing MJF because I don't know who's going to beat MJF. But if someone beats MJF, I want it to be Jay White. And the first feud of Jay White, I think it will be nice to have Adam Copeland against Jay White.
Yeah. I don't know if Jay White has enough steam behind him at the moment to become the champion. The pay-per-view is what, about a month away, maybe. They'd have to build him up a fair bit. I mean, Jay White is great. Any hardcore fan who's watched Jay White knows that how talented he is. But they need to show that on screen to everyone, especially people who only watch Dynamite because he's mainly been featured on Collision, hasn't he?
Yeah, but they have
yeah,
a month. They have a month. It's at the end of November, the pay-per-view.
Yeah. They've got a month to do it. So yeah, I mean, I personally don't think he will be MJF, but
but wouldn't that add to the shock factor? Factor like people who don't know Jay White as well. Be like, oh yeah, he seems alright, seems cool. But he's not MJF's gonna beat him surely, and then MJF loses.
and Jay White would be great, wouldn't he, with the world title?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay White versus Edge again. It's another one of those crossover matches that you'd want to see for years and years, and now they're in the same company. It's like,
Yeah.
oh
Bro, I think just I can already see it, just like the promos, the way they would like just like talk down to each other and play the mind games and all the shenanigans. I think could be really, really good.
yeah, they're quite similar characters in a way, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
really do. Yeah.
right. Rohit, what is your third and final pick?
First of all, thank you, Alfonso. I don't have to use my third pick for Jay White now. I appreciate it. So I'm going with one of the ones Edge actually wants because I really wanted to, and that is Samoa Joe. Simple as. I don't think I have to say much else.
No, you
Really.
don't have to say anything.
No,
It
Joe again.
just
Joe's awesome, isn't he?
yeah, speaks for himself. Want to see Joe do more. I'm glad that he has been doing more since Collision with like the whole CM Punk feud, now doing stuff with MJF and other people, and still having the Ring of Honor TV title as well. So Samoa Joe's just great. Since I first seen him in Ring of Honor, I've been following Joe's career through all of his matches, and I'm just glad he's enjoying. Seems to be enjoying what he's doing, getting the opportunities, and I do hope he becomes AEW World Champion at one point, just to have that on his resume, because I feel like Joe deserves it to be on there. I think it will help the Taos lineage as well to have Joe on there.
Yeah, Joe excels at anything he does.
100%.
He's just awesome in every aspect, really, and it's you can see why so many people want to work with him.
Yeah, 100%. Really, 100%.
Yeah. So my last pick is another obvious one. It's Kenny Omega.
Yeah, he was on my list too.
Yeah, I just think this one is purely from a match quality standpoint. I want Edge to have one last absolute banger in the ring, and who better to do it with than one of the best wrestlers in the world, Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious one. That's the big money match. That will be like a crazy, crazy good match. If Kenny stopped getting fucking hit in the head like last night.
Oh God, don't
I
talk about
haven't
that.
seen that yet. How bad was it?
It was wince inducing. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I think they tried to make it as safe as they could, but yeah, he got cracked right in the head. No protection whatsoever with a chair. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yes,
Yeah.
not good. But yeah, I think those two would kill it in the ring. I think Edge can definitely still go. He proved that with his matches against Sheamus, his last match against Sheamus. He still had pretty good matches
with Balor.
Yeah, Roman Reigns as well a couple of years back, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And I just think Kenny would get the best out of him in the ring. So we've all made our picks. None of us have crossed over picks. So this is going to be hard to make a top three. I feel like Rohit mentioned Jay White, and so did I.
So did I.
I know. And Alfonso said Jay White.
Yeah, and Alfonso said Jay White. So
I think he should be in there for sure.
Yeah, I think Jay White should be in there too. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one sorted. So that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega.
What did you say, Alfonso?
Kenny Omega should be like the obvious choice also in the top three.
I think that's bound to happen at some point anyway, so I feel like we can exclude that in our top
three.
Okay. But I'm not against it.
Now this is where the debating's going to happen because I think Kenny should be in there.
Put him in there, Super.
Okay.
If you want him in there, we can.
Okay,
I was just saying maybe we can save a spot because we most like that's gonna happen at some point. We probably think, but if you want to put him in there, we can put him in there. I'm going.
Go on, Alfonso.
Like for me, the top three should be Kenny Omega on the last on the number third spot.
Okay.
Second spot, Jay White, and the first spot, I don't know. Roderick Strong.
Nah, Samoa Joe. It's gotta be Joe.
It's got to be Joe.
Joe's always number one.
See,
otherwise, he's gonna urinag you to I don't know somewhere.
I thought about Joe too.
Yeah,
and it's the match. It's one of the matches Edge specifically himself mentioned. So I feel like Joe can make the top three.
Yeah.
Don't know what you think, Alfonso.
That works for me.
Yeah, I'm happy to not have like Rush or Jay.
But let's be honest. Like the first one has to be Kenny Omega. Like every single guy that arrives to AEW needs to face Kenny Omega. Like that's like the new rule because he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and every Kenny Omega match is a nice match to watch.
100%. I completely agree. Kenny Omega should be number one because of how good the match would be in the ring and how much, especially the hardcore AEW fans, would look forward to that match.
Then Jay White, because everybody thinks about Jay White.
Yeah.
And then Samoa Joe.
Well, there we go. Yeah. That wasn't too painful. If you agree, Rohit.
That's fine with me. As long as they're all in there, like I'm not too fussed about the order, really.
There we go.
Great
That's
matches,
it.
But yeah. But before we move on, I'm just trying to think. Have we had Kenny Omega versus Samoa Joe yet?
No, we haven't.
Well, that's money on the table. What's Tony Khan doing?
Book it, Tony. Book it.
Oh gosh, but yeah,
There's so many
I'm happy
people
with
Kenny
that.
Omega could wrestle.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I'm happy with that top three. Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
good to
We've
me.
settled it. Number 1, Kenny Omega. Number 2, Jay White. Number 3, Samoa Joe. Edge's top dream matches in AEW.
And now the wild card pick.
And now we choose a wild card. Now this person can be anyone. It can be like a fantasy booking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to throw out there. So come on then, Alfonso. We'll start with you. What's your
Okay.
wild card?
Okay, are you ready for this?
Go on.
You have to slap a titty. Because right now, my favorite wrestler is Tony Storm.
Tony Storm.
Oh my
Oh.
God. Like, I was laughing my ass off last night. Like, when she said, give us a minute because sponsors need to say a message or something like that before the commercial break. And then when she was slapping a titty, I think it was awesome.
Tony Storm is fucking killing it at the moment. Her character work is so good. It's so unique, and it oh my god, it's hilarious as well.
It's so good. I want to see her fight against Edge.
Well, I think they could make that entertaining.
Yeah,
For sure.
it'd be interesting.
The way Tony's character is at the moment, she's been on fire. She really has. Interesting pick though, Alfonso.
Thank you very much.
Interesting.
I almost go with the giant panda, but yeah, Tony Storm won my heart last night. Because
Rohit,
I really want to see it. I really want to see Adam Copeland spearing the panda. You know, that will be great.
do you know what I thought of that as well?
That would be actually quite hilarious, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Rohit, what's your wild card pick?
So I've had a think, and apparently he's mentioned him. So I'm not gonna go with my original pick. That was my wild card, which was Okada. But instead, I'm gonna go with Tetsuya Naito.
I knew you'd
Oh.
pick someone from New Japan.
Has to be done. It
Yeah,
has to be
yeah.
done. I mean, he has spoken that he's interested, but obviously, considering his age and his wear and tear, I wouldn't put him in a G1. But I think dream matches, Forbidden Door, Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Team next year, whichever. I think he's already interested and said he wants to have a match with Okada. So that's why I'm like, okay, cool. That's gonna happen at some point, I'm sure now. So next up, Tetsuya Naito, really, because I feel like they kind of like attitude towards what they can do to each other, I think, would be quite interesting, especially with Naito's character work. It's something just so different, and I feel like Edge could play around with that so well, and in ring wise, they would do a solid job as well.
I think it would be a bit like him in AEW. It would be crazy to see Edge at a Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, it would be. He's interested. He said he likes the idea of a Wrestle Kingdom and a Tokyo Dome. So maybe not this year, but we'll see what happens.
When I think about cross promotional Wrestle Kingdom, I get sad because I really want to see CM Punk in a Tokyo Dome match.
Yeah, that's such a missed opportunity. It's just unfortunate,
Because
really.
I was just imagining a match with Okada. Imagine Punk Okada at Tokyo
Yeah.
Dome. Yeah, it makes me
Punk,
sad a little bit.
yeah, Punk Okada, and after the match, Kenta attacks Punk finally. And
The Battle of the Go to Sleeps.
yeah,
Yeah.
such a missed opportunity there, but who knows? Maybe at some point in the future, but we can only dream, can't we?
Yeah. Don't, because I'm going to start going off on a tangent now, getting all sad that Punk's no longer wrestling.
He'll be back, but it seems like it does feel like the
I'm
teasers of him
like
coming to WWE started.
I really want to see him come back at Survivor Series and go against Roman Reigns because imagine that, or against Cody Rhodes because imagine that WrestleMania, like the WrestleMania card for the WrestleMania 40 can be like so crazy this year.
Yeah, completely agree. And we had a go at fantasy booking Punk's return to wrestling. So guys, check out that one on YouTube too. But back to this one. So my wild card pick. Now, hear me out on this one. My wild card pick is Gangrel.
Oh.
Yeah, he's still wrestling. He's made a couple of appearances in AEW since they've been a thing. I don't know if you guys remember. He was in the Matt Hardy cinematic match against Sammy Guevara.
I remember, yeah.
And then he also was accompanied the Young Bucks to the ring for a tag match a couple of years ago, and then got subsequently super kicked by them. So he's made 2 appearances in AEW, and I want to see almost like a reincarnation of the Brood storyline. It never really ended properly. I want to see Gangrel come back and say, you know, you went on to become this massive star. I was held down. I didn't do anything after that. You took everything away from me, and them two just have an absolute bloodbath against each other. And that way as well, we get to hear Gangrel's music one more time, because I want him to come out to that music, because that is one of the best entrance musics ever.
That's interesting for sure. I'm not against it. Not against it. I'm up for pretty much everything really, for the most part. And yeah, and there's everything's really there for the storyline. You have like the Hardys obviously there, Christians there.
Exactly.
The history with the Young Bucks, maybe you could throw that in there. Maybe like Brood 2.0 with the Young Bucks saying these are the better versions of you. A lot of things that could be
the
done
most
around
important part of all that is that you have to have Nick Wayne becoming the next Van Helsing, and have Nick Wayne Van Helsing trying to catch every monster gimmick in AEW. He goes against the vampires first, and then he goes against Malachi Black.
Yeah.
And then he goes against the ego of the Young Bucks, and then he goes up against Tony Khan and his weird eccentric ways.
Mm-hmm.
This is some weird eccentric booking. You've led us down a whole new road now, Alfonso. Proper fantasy booking there.
Thank you very much.
We love to hear it.
Obviously, Gangrel, he's quite old, and the match, you know, it's not going to be a technical classic, obviously. But can you imagine some of the stories and the way that, you know, like you said, the Hardys, Christian, bringing up the Brood from 20
Sting and Darby Allin in there as well.
Oh, you could throw so much in there. It'd be great. It'd be great. I want to see that happen.
That would be good, and especially with the Hardys being around. Can you imagine like a cinematic match with like the Brood, the whole storyline, the vampire, the demon kind of aesthetic, I guess, and thieves in there with all these movable parts?
See,
could work.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
Someone would just get covered in blood in that match. There would just be Gangrel would just have a giant tub full of blood that he just pours on every person in the match.
Darby would do that. He'd be up for that.
I want it to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, there you go. I mean, we've done all right there, I think.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to say that wrestling is in a very good spot right now, and we just have to be happy about it.
For sure.
Like, we just have to be happy about it, because I think the wars are starting. Like, the big names are changing companies, and it's going to be very fun these few weeks of wrestling. Next Tuesday we have NXT Super Stack, and we have Title Tuesday. So I think Thursday we're going to have a lot to talk about, and just be happy that Adam Copeland is going to have a lot of amazing matches. Maybe not against Luchasaurus, but he's going to have a lot of great matches along the way.
Yeah,
for sure.
Couldn't agree more. Obviously, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. There's a lot of crazy things happening, people switching back and forward. The companies hopefully are going to propel each other to just become better. And, you know, we've had Edge go over to AEW, Jade Cargill go over to WWE, 2 really big stars. Who knows
Free
what might
agents that
happen
were
next.
released.
Yeah,
recently.
with the switches.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're going to have Mercedes Monet arriving to AEW soon enough.
Yeah, that's been rumored a lot, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Seems likely.
But yeah, I mean, Edge could have a great final few years in his wrestling career in AEW. So many great dream matches for him to have. He's had a great career, really. So many great
Yeah.
moments in WWE. We did a podcast about him a few weeks back, us three. So go and check that one out, guys. Edge's greatest moments in WWE. We'll have to wait and see what the future holds for him.
And he said it himself, really, didn't he? Like, he felt like he's done everything there is, and there wasn't much for him to do. And WWE never really had much for him to do. So
yeah, and he wanted
Yeah.
freedom,
Yeah.
at his stage in his career, and that's what he's got. So you're going to
Exactly.
get the haters, like we said earlier, Rohit, but people
Yeah.
should just be happy for him. It's his decision. He wants to do what he wants to do, then let him do it.
I think
Yeah,
we were
for sure.
talking about this like a few weeks ago about Edge going back to Christian and having this last run with
Yeah.
him, and I think that's what he wanted. And in
Mhm.
the end of the day, it's like we just have to be happy because the wrestlers want to do that, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Couldn't agree
Until
more.
Christian said those 3 words.
Yeah. We're recording Thursday, 5th of October, so Dynamite was last night, and
Yeah.
Edge and Christian, sorry, Adam Copeland and Christian got off to a great start, definitely. Christian told him to go and fuck himself, for anyone who hasn't seen it. It was brilliant. So yeah, we'll wrap it up there for this week, guys. As usual, don't forget to follow us on our social media, on Twitter, Facebook, and we're on Threads, all at One Stop Wrestling. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. This one will be up shortly. And Alfonso and Rohit, thank you so much for the time this evening, guys.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Pleasure as always. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
pleasure,
remember,
guys. And we'll see you on the next one.
remember that Tony is timeless.
What a way to end it.
Have a nice day, guys.
See you guys.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.